pretty brave for willingly putting on a corset.
I really need to be grounded right now.
Grounded as in like feet on the floor, grounded as in I need to discipline you.
Maybe both. So I have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off from school. Sometimes I'm like, I don't need to do anything because I've got 3 days off. And then Monday night comes around and I'm like, fuck.
That's how I feel every day of my life.
It's Monday. I'm tired. I did my taxes. I did a yard
Whoa.
sale yesterday.
What?
I made $30.
That's better than zero.
No, it's not, because I was lazy to go get the signs. So I DoorDashed them and that cost $20.
Wait, you DoorDashed yard sale signs?
Yeah, and I don't want to
Okay.
talk about it. I have always been like this. I do things for convenience.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. This is actually something I feel passionately about. It's stuff that the world isn't built for neurodivergent people, because a lot of the times that makes it not only hard for neurodivergent people to make the same amount of money as other people, but it also requires them to spend more money to accommodate
Yes.
themselves. And that's kind of the spiral I'm in currently. It's like the older sister of how am I supposed to get a job in retail without retail experience, you know? That's how I
Yeah.
feel right now
Totally.
in life.
I agree. The amount of times that I leave the house without a little snack and then I realize, oh, I have a blood sugar issue, so I have to go spend money on a little snack. And then I feel bad for spending money on a little snack. It's a tough world out there.
I've yet to figure out what my coffee situation looks like at my mom's. She doesn't have a coffee maker. She doesn't drink coffee.
Yeah. Does she feel weird about that?
I think we passed that a while ago. You know,
She's like, I have bigger problems.
I think the gay thing was like a little more alarming.
Okay, life update. I went out because my neighbor's a real one. She's invited me to so many things. We went to a Valentine's Day party. Then we went out after that. I just kind of accepted my fate. I don't really feel like I see that many hot men out and about roaming around, you know?
I also think we should clarify what substance you were on before you went.
Oh, yes. I have found my sweet spot, and that is a big gulp of Diet Dr. Pepper, and that's it. And some would say that's raw dogging. I wouldn't. I think the caffeine really takes me to that perfect level. I have been sober for a little over 3 years from alcohol, mainly driven because of my endometriosis. When I drink, I'm not enjoying myself. I'm thinking, wow, I look like I'm with child because I am so bloated. And that's just a little distracting when you're getting back into the dating scene, you know? Okay, so going to the dive bar, at this point, I've got low expectations. I am just realizing I'm going to be one of the wingmen for my neighbor who is in the dating scene. If anything, she's my mentor. I'm like, can I shadow this? Because I've been out of it for a bit. We all kind of end up talking to these two guys as a group. This really upset, what do you call him, bouncer? He just starts yelling, get out! Someone pissed him off, I guess.
Bet you wish you had the pacifier with you then.
Vin Diesel? Yeah, he'd come in handy. Anyways, we all ended up in the bar. We're like, shoulder to shoulder. I'm just kind of getting knocked around. Haven't been in this situation in a long time. You're just starting to smell like everyone around you. It's super fun.
Yeah.
I end up talking to this guy. He seems nice. We're hitting it off a little bit. He asks for my number, but he doesn't just ask for my number. He opens up his phone to where I directly put my number and name into his contact, which I feel like that's like double downing. It's one thing when you're just like, hey, text me. We just have like a text thread.
Did you write like bar girl?
No, I went full first, last name.
Okay, did you tell him what that was?
Well, no, he saw it.
Okay, cool. Because I was just picturing you putting it in there, saving it, and giving it back, and then him leaving and being like, what was her name?
No, bar guy has not texted. And I'm like, weird. And not to overthink it, because honestly, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Saturday was Valentine's Day. Maybe he feels weird, but also like, don't feel weird. Like, what am I going to be like, hey, where are my flowers? Like, no.
I mean, you could.
That's true, but I'm not in that place. You know what? Regardless, I feel great because I got out there.
You did it.
Proved I still got it. I don't really care if he texts me or not. Progress, baby. It's a big step for me.
I struggle to make it to a social event once I have committed.
Yeah.
And my sweet angel friend Erica has been so nice since I moved to Utah, has been like inviting me to go out with her and her friends.
Love that.
I did go a couple of weeks ago. And she was literally like, I'm so sorry to do this. I don't usually push like this, but I am pulling you out of the house. I'm on my way to pick you up.
She knew you kind of needed it.
Yeah. And so that was week before last. I went out. It was fun. I was like, I'll stay for an hour and one drink. Girl, I had 4 drinks and I stayed till like almost 1.
Here's the thing. Once you get there, I feel like
yes,
you get in the rhythm. You get in your flow.
Totally. Well, it was just her and 2 of her gay male friends. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. But then, I'll be honest, I had a little bit of a crash out on Valentine's Day, and I think it was less about the classic, like, being single on Valentine's Day and more about autistic burnout. I hadn't been listening to my body, and I
Mhm.
just sort of crashed. Angel Erica did invite me to go out. I was like, "Should I go out for Valentine's Day? That could be fun." I didn't go. I hope my friends know that it's not because I don't like them. It's because of the tism usually. Where's my stimulation level? Where's my energy level? How much time have I spent alone? I didn't spend, like, any time alone last week, you know?
Yeah. No, I 100% get that. I did spend Valentine's Day alone, and I took my dog to the dog park at 5:30.
So you weren't alone.
No, I was, like, the only
You
one
were
there,
with
and
Fonzie.
I said, "Cool, cool, 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 cool." Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised that I wasn't sad because
Yeah.
this is, like, the first Valentine's Day that I'm single in a long time, and I was happy about it. I really did expect to crash out, so
Welcome to Cousin Closet.
welcome to the pod. We just jumped right on in as we do,
I'm Maddie,
and I'm Emily.
and we're here to unpack our
Our
lives
lives in our closets.
and our hearts.
Yeah, because 'cause we're Scorpio. Well, no. I always put you in the Scorpio moon box, but
Well, I have a Scorpio stellium, and my chart is very heavily Scorpio, which may I just quickly interject something?
absolutely.
I was doing a little comparison within the astrology world. There are different methods you can use to calculate your chart. The one that I use is called Placidus. A lot of mainstream astrologers like Chani, she's one of, I would say,
Mhm.
like the more popular astrologers right now, she uses whole sign. What that does basically is it shifts where all of the positions are in your chart. I was comparing today my Placidus chart, which is very much so Libra, Scorpio, public facing, dramatic, passionate,
Okay.
social, right?
Mhm.
My whole sign chart is very spiritual, psychic, very
Interesting.
metaphysical, very private. I've always seen them as like one or the other, but that feels like two sides to me. But then I was also comparing my Vedic astrology, which is totally different to the other two charts. And it
Mhm.
was so interesting because it was, again, this third side to me that is much more security based, much more sensual and senses driven is a huge part of me as well. And I think my physical needs are very much so grounded in comfort and security and the senses. And that aligns a lot with my autistic body.
Something about astrology stresses me out because I feel like it's less of the black and white thinking and it's very fluid. And sometimes I think both the autistic or the Capricorn lens that I have, I struggle with that. But I remember you were saying that people on the spectrum a lot of times present themselves in astrology as having very opposite or conflicting signs.
I definitely feel like this last time that I was really looking at my chart and examining it, I was really seeing the masking part of me that wants peace, really desires social situations, but struggles to
Yeah.
fully interpret them, and
Yeah.
also is very heady, overthinking things, analyzing.
When you're out in social situations. That's my issue is that I feel like I'm overly picking up on people's energy, how they perceive my behaviors, how they perceive my energy. That's why I feel like my word of the year is presence. And I need to remind myself of that grounded nature of don't think about the intricacies, but just stay here in the now. And that is when I'm obviously my best self, is when I'm just
Mhm.
a little bit more grounded.
Yeah, totally. I see in my chart the contradiction. There's a lot of restless mental energy,
Hmm.
and a lot of deep emotional intensity as well that feel very much so like ADHD, autism together for me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just been something I'm thinking about a lot this week.
We need to do a full on neurodivergent episode. We've been talking about that. We're going to.
Should we get into our Valentine's Day themed outfits?
Yeah. And if you're new here, our executive function really just did not think ahead. And we wanted to embrace the Valentine's Day theme, hence our outfits, but we got a little bit behind and forgot to do it for last episode. So,
Let's just go ahead and say that we're probably not going to do anything perfectly relevantly on
yeah.
time, okay? Just go ahead and take that expectation off the table because we'll likely not be the first person to report on a new trend, to touch on a new idea, da-ba-da-da-da-ba-da, to be in time for the new year, whatever it may
And
be.
hopefully that just encourages you to come as you are, you know? If you've
Mhm.
got some of those cute little fun habits, we embrace them, we love
Yeah,
them, we welcome them.
we welcome. And you know what? just because Valentine's Day passed doesn't mean we can't get inspired by it. Doesn't mean it. I will say, it's upsetting to realize that Valentine's Day is a Christian holiday.
No,
Like,
I didn't know that.
I mean, Saint Valentine.
I think I've not learned about it for a reason.
Do you want me to stop or can I keep going?
I have really good memories of Valentine's Day because my mom would be so intentional about it, and we would wake up and we'd have heart balloons, and we'd have like little deli meat that was shaped in hearts and all of these little candies, and she would pack our lunch, and it was like, I don't know why no other holiday felt so intentional. It's something that I have like really, really fond memories of, but go ahead and ruin it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that I'm gonna give you the facts, and I don't think we need to stop celebrating Valentine's Day, but I do think it's interesting to think about how there are other holidays around this time, right? Like Lunar New Year, definitely something that's not rooted in Christianity. There's also Imbolc, which is a holiday celebrated by pagans. It's interesting that a lot of the pagan holidays were what Christians wanted to distract from, so they decided
Pagans, witches. Oh no, I'm thinking of a Wiccan.
pagans are rooted in pagan tradition, so a lot of worshiping the earth, oneness with the cycles of the earth and the seasons.
And pagan is a division of Christianity?
No, paganism, let me just read the definition of paganism, shall I?
Okay.
Paganism is a broad, diverse, and rapidly growing set of modern, nature-based, and polytheistic spiritual movements that generally take inspiration from the pre-Christian religions of Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. So it's a lot of focus on the divine feminine. It's polytheistic, so it's not just one god that you're worshiping. It's very much so based in animism. Everything is alive, everything has a spirit, everything has a
Wait.
soul.
I'm like, oh, I'm a pagan. Just converts on this podcast.
I have deeply rooted pagan ideology that I align with.
Since deconstructing from Christianity, I've never really felt like I'm agnostic, like maybe close to it. I'm really uncertain. And I really just believe in love and that honestly we should have a matriarchy. But that's kind of sounds more and more like paganism as you're mentioning it.
Also, what's interesting is we were taught Wicca is like this evil, scary, satanic thing, right?
Yeah. I was taught like horoscopes, crystals, anything witchy and spiritual is like you're immediately going to hell. Don't even think about it.
Yep. Wicca, it's a pagan religion, but it's based in worshiping nature. It's based in the divinity of the earth. And the only thing that made it like scandalous is that they practice witchcraft, which is essentially, I think, manifestation and just working with the law of attraction. So
Yeah.
It's actually not evil. And Valentine's Day, interesting that it's kind of a diversion from these other holidays that are deeply connected to earth and life and self and nature rather than connected to like love, marriage, capitalism. Just saying.
That is an interesting thought.
Well, now that we've deconstructed Valentine's Day, should we get into our outfits, and would you like to go first?
Yes and yes. And I'm really excited about this because this dress that I'm wearing, an off-the-shoulder ruched, very 80s inspired with a bubble skirt, red. It's got long sleeves. And this was actually one of the dresses that I bought for my 30th birthday. And then I chose a different dress, but this was on clearance and I didn't realize I couldn't send it back. So she's just been sitting in my closet waiting for her debut. I'm also wearing this gold charm necklace with different colored hearts that I DIY'd. And then I've got a red lip that is very quickly wearing off, but it's what I like to call my power color, orangey red. When I have that color on my lips or my nails, I feel unstoppable.
Is that like the scarlet crayon? Because that was my favorite color crayon.
I can't remember.
Okay, cool. Go back to
So-
your shoes.
I'm not wearing shoes because I was going to wear these strappy heels, but I don't have my toes painted and I feel a little insecure about it. So we're hiding them.
Do you have the heel nearby that you can show? And can you describe for us?
She's just a strappy nude kitten heel. I want to actually crop this and make it into a 2-piece set.
You could do that easily, I bet.
Yeah, I would love to learn how to sew, but that's another day.
Oof, yeah, you're probably not going to do that today. Unfortunately, we're not taking that on today.
Well, please talk about this beautiful corset you have.
I started with a base layer of this red, kind of like canvasy dress. It does go to my ankles. I hiked it up a little bit for this. The nature of the dress without the corset on top is a little bit bustier-like with less structure. So I decided to put that on the bottom, layer over the top a red and black lacy ribbony corset that I thrifted ages ago.
If you've seen the movie Easy A, that's the vibe.
I did cinch this like hua hit I cinched it really tight. I'm surprised that I was able to do that. But I wanted to give it like kind of a Marie Antoinette flair. So what I did is I pulled up the sides and I tucked them in. So there's again a little kind of bustle thing at the back and tied it so that it's a little bit shorter by my knees. I wore my black stockings and my red strappy heels that I also thrifted and opted for straps off the shoulders to give a little bit more of a romantic feel. Maroon makeup, heavy on the blush, heavy on the maroon eyeshadow, a maroon lip. And I did kind of like a half up little.
It's giving Marie Antoinette when they do like the curls and they have the half updo with the hair down.
Yes. What is that era?
Medieval? I don't know. You know, I don't like old movies or like anything based in that time. So I've blocked it out. You're in your follicular phase, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
I think that's the only reason you can handle this cinching right now.
Neoclassical.
I would not have guessed
A
that.
little late Rococo neoclassical nod. But I also kind of wanted to look like a Moulin Rouge dancer and also a little bit like a harlot from, the 1800s or something.
Isn't the Scarlet Letter from the 1800s?
16, 17.
Don't reference us for a history lesson, okay?
I layered some silver necklaces. I believe I thrifted this as well. And this pendant I've had for a really long time. Oh, and I have this little bauble that I've been stimming with. It is a button bracelet. Beautiful, stunning. Ellie made this for me. She just sent it in a package with some of my stuff. It's my perfect little stim now. So that's the fit.
Love it. Perfect. No notes.
Thank you. Boobs out. I've been having a boob renaissance.
I've said this before. I'd get a boob job if I didn't think I was going to be allergic to the implants.
So true.
In fact, my sister is thinking about getting a breast reduction after she's had kids. And I was like, do you think I could be in like the operating room next door? They take it out of her. They just slip it into me. I feel like that wouldn't be very problematic, but I don't know. I'm still going to look into it.
I get it. I mean, the thing is I can't make any comments on you wishing you had bigger boobs because I've always had bigger boobs.
Yeah.
Since I was like 16. I will say they've gotten much smaller. And I went through a phase of hiding them for a while, but now they're back. They're out. They're fun. They're bouncy.
But I will say, you know what? Especially since going into massage school, my ass, she's assin'.
It makes sense that I'd be tits, you'd be ass.
Yeah, I feel that too. And I didn't realize that with massage, you have to be very mindful of your body mechanics so that you don't hurt yourself. So there's a lot more squatting involved. And I'm not going to lie, you guys, some of my pants don't fit. And it's really interesting, but I'm like not mad about it because I'm like, that old thing, okay.
Oh, my dumpy is too big for my pants. I guess I have to get new ones. Or honestly, just show a little crack because I think crack is back.
Okay,
No, crack is back.
Not when you're giving someone a massage and having your crack falling out. Different vibe.
One of these days, our theme for the outfits is going to be crack is back, and we have to show crack.
Okay, I'm here for it. Well, she's going to keep growing, and she'll be ready.
I'm just picturing you with a BBL like 6 months from now. You can't fit in the camera because your ass is too fat.
Oh my gosh, speaking of a fat ass, Cardi B, man, a video of her popped up on my TikTok, and I was like, I am no better than a man. I was like, she has a fine ass. If mine ever got that big, I wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah, why would you? Well, we were trying to decide what to unpack. Everything we've unpacked so far has been really light, super easy, very low-key, not dark, traumatic, or personal at all. No tears, no vulnerability. So we thought we would unpack something really scary, really deep, and really serious.
Crushes.
Crushes.
Sweet, little, whimsical, pitter-patters in your heart. Love them.
Emily brought this up, and because I have delayed recall and I can't remember something on the spot ever,
She goes, what is a crush?
I'm like, what would I possibly talk about coming from the girl who has based her entire personality on crushes since she was born? That's me.
Literally, when you said that, you were like, I can't think of any stories. I was like, I'm going to let her unpack that later.
Once I started, I was like, I actually have not only
Can't
stories, but
stop.
unlimited thoughts about this. We're going to take turns going through our thoughts on crushes, some stories, and generally just unpack the feeling, what it's like, and why we got them.
Love them. I truly miss a crush. I think that there is honestly no greater feeling when you get to that point where you're like, I think I like them.
I want to talk about the different kinds of crushes because I think sometimes there are lines blurred and we are mistaking something for a crush that is not. There, I said it. That's my hot take.
I'm intrigued.
I'm going to give a few definitions, okay?
Okay.
First definition is crush. A brief but intense infatuation for someone, especially someone unattainable or inappropriate.
That took a hard left.
Yep. So then I'm like, okay, well, what's infatuation? Let's look into that. Infatuation, an intense but short-lived passion or admiration for someone or something.
Okay.
Then we get into lust, right? Lust, very strong sexual desire for something towards someone. Okay.
Okay.
Then we have love. Obviously, we know love is an intense feeling of deep affection. Then we have falling in love, when you develop a deep romantic or sexual attraction to someone. Let's look at romance. A feeling of excitement and mystery associated with love. That's the first definition. The second one, though, is a quality of feeling mystery, excitement, and remoteness from everyday life. Okay, so we've got crush, infatuation, lust, love, falling in love, romance. Limerence. We don't talk about limerence enough.
No, as soon as you were going through these, I go, in my mind, she needs to talk about limerence because that's been popping off on my TikTok. And apparently it's very much linked to neurodiversity.
Okay, oh my God, I have
So much to unpack here.
much to say about this. So limerence, for those of you who don't know, this is a definition. A state of being infatuated or obsessed with another person, typically characterized by a strong desire for reciprocation of one's feelings, but not primarily for a sexual relationship.
Unfortunately, I think that was a lot of what I had in the last episode when I talked about the fact that I just wanted to be liked. So if you're making those connections, I understand.
It's interesting that you bring up the neurodivergence piece because limerence is extremely common with autistic people, ADHD people, because a lot of the times you experience intense feelings, so you can't regulate your emotions in the same way. There's an all-consumingness, one, because of the way that we hyperfixate on things that we're interested in, on monotropism, which means we can focus in on one thing only, and that's the only thing that we can think of. And then also a tendency, which in my case, I'm realizing is true, to treat people as a special interest, relationships as a special interest, understanding people
Oh my God,
as
this
a
makes so much
special
sense
interest.
for you.
I know,
Having crushes was your special interest growing up.
because it was rooted in a fixation that gave me this like dopamine hit that would regulate my emotions. It would make me feel grounded, right? And have like a sense of safety, but it would also lead to obsessive thoughts. It would lead to like intense oversharing. It would lead to emotional fallout if things didn't go well. And it's interesting now how I can look back at my whole life and see these patterns so clearly, going from crush to crush to crush to relationship to situationship to crush, whatever, over and over and over and over again. And to recognize how much of that was actually limerence and a projection of what I was feeling internally onto somebody else. I thought it was interesting to kind of touch on the different forms of attraction or longing or yearning for someone or something, because we tend to just loop it all into a crush. But I think getting into the nuances of, was that reciprocated? Was it based in who they actually
Was
were?
it completely made up in my mind?
Exactly.
Oof. Yeah, there's some things I look back and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So as we're getting into these stories of crushes, keep that in mind. Would you like to start with your first and most consuming crush?
My first love, my first crush. I was obsessed with him from first grade to probably seventh grade. That's a long crush. That's a long crush. I was obsessed. I don't even feel like I need to give him a code name. Duncan. Duncan. He was my password for the longest time, for everything. I changed
Careful.
that, so
Okay,
don't
cool.
worry. You can't get into anything.
No one's going to be stealing your identity. You're no longer Mrs. Dunkin' Donuts anymore.
He was a cutie patootie. I feel like a lot of my childhood I honestly blacked out, so I'm trying to think back to what that crush looked like. Was that all internal? Like, did he ever know? Where did it come from?
What's the first time you remember being like, Duncan?
In like third, fourth grade, we would go and play kickball. And I just remember being like, yeah, I'm going to kick that ball because I thought I was going to impress him.
Did he know you had a crush on him?
Probably.
And were you friends?
I didn't have many friends, so probably not. No.
So classmates?
Yes.
Okay, and you're also at Christian Elementary, right?
Christian University at first grade, yes.
So you're at Christian University.
Christian school.
You have a fixation on him from first grade to 7th grade
Mm-hmm.
that was not reciprocated. So this is giving limerence.
Yeah.
Obsession, perhaps? Do you think there was something about fixating on one person that gave you comfort?
Totally. I have always liked the crush phase. And then once I have to do something about it, I'm like, no, 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 no. So I think because I was so young, I didn't have to do anything about it. I was not one of those girls that was making out with anyone in 5th grade. Teach their own and like you do you. I did not have that confidence.
Well, interesting too, because when you grow up in like a compulsively heteronormative society or culture or religion, right, which we both did,
Mm-hmm.
you know from a very young age that your purpose is deeply rooted in finding a
A
future
partner.
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, and someone to be the father of your family and seeing that as kind of like the goal that is set up for you, right?
I was working hard on it in 1st grade, apparently.
No, but really, I feel like some of my first memories of self-awareness were liking somebody is important.
Yeah.
Getting a boyfriend or having a crush, having someone like me pay attention to me is important, and it gave me a sense of worth.
It's so weird because I don't remember anyone sitting me down and being like, "Oh, do you have a crush?" Did I pick up on a lot of that just through watching other people? Half of it's just biology, just being
Mhm.
like attracted to something, someone. I don't know, but I just remember being obsessed with him and like, okay, let me get into all of my different logins.
Yeah.
Duncan.
Hands up if you ever used your crush's name for a password. We're both raising our hands.
Yeah.
And you wanna know what? I know somebody has used my name as their crush for a password.
Honestly, if I found that out, I would not ever let that go. I would milk that and I would feel so good.
So it was a little bit of a situation thing
Okay.
where like, oh, it's my best friend's cousin. We're the same age. I don't have a crush right now. I'm meeting you at my
Mm,
friend's sweet 16. I'm dancing with you. I don't know what to say. So I say, your hair is curly. He says, yeah. I say, yeah. And then I continue to be a part of this family forever. We always had like a distant crush on each other. He's married with kids now, happy
love
for
that
him.
for
Every time
them.
I see him, great, good to see you. He did tell me years ago that his password was I love Maddie for a while, and I felt powerful.
Can we just talk about the sad time when you're in between crushes and you're just like,
Do you want to know what I did?
yeah,
I had a small plastic treasure chest. And when I had a new crush, I would write the name, I would fold it up, and I would put it inside of the treasure chest. Then, when this person did me dirty or was no longer my crush, I would rip it into smithereens and leave the remains in the bottom of the treasure chest to hold whatever crush came next. And I did this maybe through high school.
I kind of love it. It feels iconic. Like it just feels like you're dead to me. And I like that energy.
I think I need to revisit that, and maybe I just need to revamp it because there is something cathartic about physically ripping up the name of your crush when you no
Shredding.
longer resonate. Yeah.
I'm going to take that on. And as I go through my dating journey, I think I might take that seriously. Might be a way of processing. Bar guy that never texted me back.
Yeah, what's his name? You can use a code name.
G.
G? Is that his name
And
just does his name just start with a G?
yes.
And is it Gary? Is it Gary? Because I went out with a guy named Gary once and he was like so nice, so cool, like
I'm so
honestly was
sorry.
really worshiping me,
I
but
could not
I
go
did
out with a
not.
Gary.
No, I didn't.
That's where I draw the line.
Do you know how it feels to try to say, Gary? No, I didn't want him to take his clothes off so bad. I was like, look, do what you want with me, but if you take those pants off, I am walking. This was before realizing some things about my sexuality.
Names are huge for me. If I'm like on a dating app and like they're hot, but they have a horrible name, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to judge you.
He was nice. He was an Aquarius. I just was like, if you take your pants off, I'm going to melon ball my eyes out. And then I'm going to walk home
Melon
blind
ball.
and let myself get hit by a car.
That is visceral imagery. I don't know.
So that's previous crush. I think it might have been a brief infatuation until I was in person with him because I liked how he texted.
I'm such a different person texting and flirting. And then the moment I feel that pressure because they're on the phone or they're in person, I'm immediately like the most uninteresting person. I have so much dating anxiety.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like that's also probably a universal experience in some ways, but I do think specifically with neurodivergent people, there's something about the immediacy of like in-person conversations or phone calls where there's a lot more pressure because you don't have time to process before you react. I feel that.
Now I realize that talking to someone in person and I have to think about what I'm saying, I can't make eye contact. And I'm recognizing that is hard when you're dating.
Yeah, if you're somebody who either can't read what somebody else is putting down energetically or are really uncomfortable with physical touch or eye contact, like Dating is very, very confusing.
Very, very hard. I'm learning.
So I want to get these two quickly out of the way, okay?
Yes.
Because these are definitely crushes, right? Unattainable, potentially inappropriate. Number 1,
Okay.
the small white cat with the pink bow from Aristocats. I have a long list of gay awakenings that actually I
We need to
would
unpack
really
that.
like us to do an episode on sexual awakenings. I know you don't think you had one, but I think you did. Let me take it a step further, and this probably goes into lust territory.
Okay.
In Toy Story, Sid makes a creation that is the sexy Barbie legs with the crane on top. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Kind of. Like, I can half picture it. I thought you were going to say the dinosaur because I thought he was cute. The one that's kind of like a little anxious, a little worried.
He seems pretty gay to me. Look at it. Do you remember?
Yeah, those are some good legs. I could see that.
And so with that reference of the cat and the legs, I would now like to turn it over to you to the next significant crush in your life. Please start from the beginning and go all in.
I want to talk about my first boyfriend.
Did you love him, do you think?
No, but I said it.
So maybe like crush and romance mixed.
Here's the thing. I think you can love someone as a person because obviously, I mean, I spent a year with him, so I had to have some type of, I care about you, you know? Unfortunately, we carved our initials on a tree.
You seen Fern Gully?
What?
Have you seen Fern Gully in the last rainforest? Of course you haven't. That's one of my favorite movies. He shrinks down to the fairy size and he carves their initials into the tree. And she says, "What are you doing?" And she puts her hand on it. She says, "Don't you feel its pain?" And that's when I learned that carving your initials into a tree is hurtful to the tree.
Oh, wait, that's actually sad. I didn't really think about that because I do actually believe that like plants have emotions.
Animism, paganism, Wicca. We're just witches.
Hi, my name's Emily and I'm a pagan. Just found that out.
I'm a pagan. My sister's name is Megan.
Woo!
Okay, so we're calling this person Mr. Gaines.
I dated him when I was a junior. He was a senior. And he was obsessed with me. And therefore, then I became, I wouldn't even say obsessed with him, but I just was like, I'll give it a whirl.
Okay.
So I gave it a whirl for a year. And
so I gave it a whirl for a year is too relatable. Ouch.
I know. I have a toxic trait of giving relationships that probably deserve 2 months, if that, a year. I'm like, let's give it a year. They've done a lot to me. I'm like, it hasn't been a year yet.
This person told me I'm the worst, stinkiest girl they've ever met, and I think I should just give it another 6 months.
Can we just talk about the fact that one time he came up to me, I was eating kettle corn. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You shouldn't eat that."
You know what? That was foreshadowing to his later career path.
This is the best part. You literally ate Swiss Miss pudding like 5 minutes ago, and he said that's how he gets his calcium.
The flags are waving, and they are red.
When he told me that he loved me, I think it was probably like 6 months in, because that's just, you know, when you do it, if you're going to do it. This boy was so dramatic. My Capricorn ass was like, in my head, I know this is coming. Just get it. Just get it out. Just say it. I know it's going to happen. He literally goes, I love. Can't say it. It was horrible. In fact, saying it out loud, I feel like I need to take a second and recover.
What did you say back? And how long did you take to say it?
I think I might have just said I love you too. And just like a pretty normal way.
At that point, you just got to be like, can we get over this? Can we get past this?
No, genuinely. I was like, all right, well, that just wasted a few minutes of my life, but it's fine.
I do remember one of my crushes in probably like 8th or 9th grade texting me from one of my friends' phones while I was homesick for the day. "All right, I love you, ... And me being like, "I have the ick and I'm never gonna talk to you again."
I would like to also unpack the fact that in the year that we dated, my new brother-in-law at the time, Max, he's fucking hilarious. Like, he is one to prank, but for whatever reason, Mr. Gaines just decides to walk up to him and just twist his nipples.
Where were you, first of all? And the second thing I have to ask is, did you teach him how to stimulate his nipples?
No, I never had any nipple action with that man, neither given or reciprocated.
This is a no nipple zone.
I was in the house when it happened, but I wasn't paying attention. And it's not like, you know, you like sit and wait for your boyfriend to like twist your brother-in-law's nipples. It just was one of those things that Max told me afterwards.
How did he react to that? Max is just like, "Oh, do it again, Mr. Gaines, harder, Mr. Gaines." And that set him on his life trajectory to become stronger so that he could give stronger nipple twists. Tell the world who he became.
A bodybuilder.
He went to your sister's wedding as your date.
Yes, and I would like to point out the fact that he wore the brightest shade of orange one could ever imagine. You know, you're just reminiscing, having sweet, sweet memories. Think about rewatching your sister's wedding video back, and all you see is this bright ass orange shirt, probably like 20 times in the full 30-minute video.
It's pretty bad.
It's really bad, you guys.
Thank you for sharing about Mr. Gaines.
That wasn't love. That was just
A romantic crush. You felt excited. It's your first taste of romance, perhaps, other than Duncan.
honestly, I don't feel like I ever liked him really.
The fact that you didn't like him makes it inappropriate that you stayed with him, and so it is a crush. So I want to go ahead and touch on something that I did a lot of the time growing up, which was just decide that's my crush, that's my fixation, and looking back, I think it was just limerence because it was all based in a projection of what I thought this person had, not who they actually were. Okay, so let's start with this: Ricardo Bustamante. First of all, I was in junior high school, and he was either 1 or 2 years younger than me, 1 or 2 feet shorter than me, but he looked maybe 15% like David Archuleta, who at the time was another limerence situation for me where I would
Drive around his home.
gosh, it's so embarrassing. I would drive past his house with my friends.
Yeah.
So this kid, he's a 7th grader. Every time I saw him, I would lose it. And by lose it, I mean I would say hi and then I would fall on the ground or I would scream. I was so giddy, but it was all for the show. I didn't even know him. He was 11. I would just do things like that. It didn't stop in 7th grade because I did that in high school too. Like, I remember a friend I made in pottery class. I wasn't attracted to him. He had a mullet. He was a stoner. And I was like, oh, I must have a crush on him because I'm interested in him liking me. And I asked him to be my partner for the couples dance. He would come to early morning practice and plays little DS with his little mullet. And my best friend was like, no, Maddie, you cannot do this. You do not have a crush on him. And if you do, you have to go straight to jail.
A real one.
So I did. I went to jail for that.
Yeah. I remember that time. I'm seeing a theme here, and I feel like I might need to find a new therapist in California to unpack this. I haven't really liked a lot of the people that I've gone on dates with in college. I was a freshman. Again, went to private school all my life, so I feel like that's very influential. My friend and I, Jenny, we went to one of like the apartment complexes that was like owned by the school to go tanning by the pool. We're just laying there, and I'm noticing there's these like 2 ROTC like army guys. They are in the pool, but I slowly, again, very hypersensitive to other people's energies. They are like, if you can jump into a pool flirtatiously, they were doing that. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, he comes over to me. He starts talking to me. I'm just not interested. I'm just like, army guy, not my vibe. But as I do, I'll give you my attention because I don't know any better. I start talking to him, and then all of a sudden, I mean, he's like really flirting it up. Like, he's into me. He's in his flow. Steps on a bee, gets stung by a bee. He's hopping on one foot, and he's just shaking, but he's like still trying to play it cool while he's asking me out.
No, this is so giving me the
You
ick.
could totally live it and be like, oh my God, fuck, this hurts. And I'd be like, oh, are you okay?
It's still embarrassing that he has to jump up and down on one foot and that he got stung by a bee, but is he wearing really long swim trunks? They were probably really baggy with lots of pockets, weren't they?
I mean, I would rather have them be longer than like those baby shorts, you know, where I just see so much thigh.
I would so much rather them be shorter. I
The
want
lesbian
more.
saying you want to see more thigh.
Listen, I think that more thigh is less gross than low rise fucking gaucho swim trunks to your knees that have 19 pockets. And the netting, the internal netting is
So he ends up asking me out. And then, so we end up going on a date. I don't really want to, but my roommates were like, you're a prude. You should probably try this. I have an ick for boy humor. I'm sorry. If you're taking me out on a first date and you're referencing poop and shit, like, it's just not going to be a vibe for me. And he was. So I just was sitting there having to listen to this man.
He's like, I just went into the bathroom and I laid a real dinky.
I like sarcasm and I like banter because I feel like it shows to me that you like have like an intellectual side. So I'm
Makes
like,
sense.
if you've got no other content but to start talking about poop, I'm immediately, no.
You're like, this is boring.
yeah, this is really boring and I can't handle it. So he took me out on this date. I'm thinking, do I have to date this man for a year? God damn it.
You don't even like him, and you're like looking at the next year, like, all right, I'll clear my schedule. I guess this is going to be brutal, but it's duty calls.
That's my rule.
Whoops, here I go. I don't even
I
like
think I
him.
give him 2 more hangouts. Like, I think we went to go hang out with his friends and play volleyball.
Did you enjoy his company at all?
No, I didn't know better. In between all of these dates, he is finding his way to be waiting for me outside each of my classes. Did I ever share with him my schedule? Did I ever share with him my class load? No.
Okay, so he was stalking you.
He was stalking me. I got to the point where I said, I can't do this for a year. And then I literally like never saw him again.
You should have known when he stepped on the bee.
I think my naive soul was just like, oh, he probably has a similar class schedule and we're just running into each other.
Well, it's just interesting that when you think, oh, crushes, that's what comes to mind, because in all reality, you didn't like him, but he had a crush on you. And so therefore you absolved the crush to become your own. And that's a whole other genre, I think, of crushes that's also comes from a very Christian religious background. Oh, I've had no experience. I know I should be dating someone. This person likes me. So I guess since they like me, I have a crush. I had the tendency, and now I can look back again and recognize that there's the dopamine rush of new crushes and the hyperfixation, and also the delayed processing. So instant obsession rather than I'm actually internalizing how I feel about you. I am taking in the dopamine rush that this is giving me. This brings me to, I will say, probably every single person that I dated or had a situationship with in high school. I want to name 2 of those people right now. I'm actually not going to name their names, but they are connected. One was a guy who was older than me, who I had gone through junior high and high school with, never once attracted to him, never once wanting to spend time with him or have a conversation with him.
Yes.
And then his best friend's little brother, who was younger than me. Let's start with the little brother.
How old is this little brother?
I'm a senior in high school. I'm 17. He's 15 when we meet. I was basically just like, oh, he's cute. I want him to like me. One time, he took me to the side of the house, put his iPod in his shirt pocket playing country music, and asked me to slow dance. And I did it.
It's so bad because I know that like 80% of the male population would be like, oh, yeah, man, that's romantic.
It took me years to admit that to my best friends because I was so humiliated. This is the same person who I had a party at my house. He leaves with his friends and sister because he can't drive. I'm cleaning up in the backyard. I hear steps. He comes running back and says, I forgot something, and kisses me. He also is somebody who kissed his whole mouth over both lips. And to bring this home to show, like, Maddie, why did you do this? I did go to homecoming with him, and I was a little inconsiderate because my high school boyfriend, who I was like on and off with all through high school, so sweet, very devoted to me, always there when I wanted to get back together. He was in our group going with my best friend to homecoming, and he volunteered to drive us with him in his car for us to go to his house for the after the dance activity.
After the dance activity, I would like to just pause there.
Yeah. And in the end, this 15-year-old boy that I was with felt like I wasn't giving him enough attention, so he just left. And then next thing I knew, I was like, where's my date? And he was gone.
I would still be talking about that in therapy to this day.
I'm not stressed that he abandoned me. I thought it was mostly embarrassing for him. It was finally the moment where I was like, I don't actually like this 15-year-old boy who likes me. I just think he's cute. This dopamine rush felt good, and I'm leaning into it. So do you want to know what I do next? I move to a different crush. Why? Because of who I am. How does this crush come to be? Convenience. It's my 18th birthday. I decided to go to St. George with my best girlfriends. We're going to visit some of our friends who have already graduated. We decided to meet up with some other guys that we had known, including this young boy's brother. We go to their apartment. It smells like weed and cologne. It's a boy apartment. They're trying to act like they're not party boys now. We're trying to act like we're not as innocent as we are. We're hanging out all night. One of them, who I had, again, actually always been, like, violently unattracted to, starts to show me some attention, right? He's like, I'm going to show you some attention. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. If you're going home, okay, let's text. I'm going to call you on your birthday. Let's talk on the phone. Let's da-da-da-da-da-da. But I'm separated from you, out of sight, out of mind. Maybe I do like you. Maybe I am attracted to you. Maybe this is real. He plans to come to the city, and the second I laid eyes on him, I had the most disturbing ick throughout my entire body. I have chills on my arms just thinking about it now. I also had no tools as a senior in high school to know how to say, you're disgusting, get away from me.
At the time, I don't think we had a word like the ick to empower us for like what we were feeling.
We called it I feel weird, and then the next part of that was, oh, you gotta end it. So we had a list of things that was, you gotta end it. And let me tell you, before I started to have a quote unquote crush on this guy, everything about him was on the list of you gotta end it.
Yeah.
Everything about him was I feel weird. So he comes over to my friend's house. I just wait for the time to pass. He won't leave. Finally, my friend is like, my mom is kicking you out. Walk him to the door, grabs me, just starts kissing me. I did not move my lips. I did not move my body. I was frozen, just trying to get through
I
it.
hate a free state.
And he goes, see you soon. And then I had to text him after and say, I'm really sorry. I can never see you again. He was like, what about this mixtape I made you? And I was like, please keep it. I do not
No.
want it. I can never
No.
see you again. And he was really mad. Kind of like what you said. Someone
Yeah.
has a crush on me? Okay. Then I have a crush
Okay.
back. And
Let's
I'm going to
go.
make it work because I like the attention. Oh, you actually disgust me? I don't want to look at you and I'm going to talk to you? Maybe not a crush after all.
So I'm going to talk about 2 crushes that I actually did like. Mainly one. I am going to name him Commander Bitchley. That is the nickname that my girlfriends and I gave him afterwards. We lived in the same dorm. So, you know, like those cute little crushes, it's just like the beginning of the crush is like, are you going to see him? This one class, when you're in it, it's close to his classroom. So you're really excited at the potential of seeing him. It was one of those texting relationships. Again, I was 19. A lot of texting late into the night. Oh
So
my gosh,
fun.
this guy is not only making me laugh, but I'm also making him laugh. And that's big for me. They have recognized that that is a non-negotiable. They have to have very compatible humor for me. But not only me think that they're funny, they also have to think I'm funny.
That's more important to me. You have to know how funny I am.
Very important. The end of the school year, I had to go back for the summer in Oregon. He stayed in California. We ended up talking, texting. I was very present and able to be myself more in a texting nature. But as soon as I would get on the phone with him, I would freeze. I would overthink it. So I wasn't able to have the same charismatic bantering on the phone. I actually understand now as an adult why he wasn't as interested.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he would say all these things of like, I want to kiss you, cute little flirtatious things like that. And then one day out of the blue, he just texted me and he said he's not interested. Honestly, I have always been the heartbreaker. So that one was harder. But then we went back to school. He kept kind of stringing me along throughout like the first month of the school year. But I remember feeling so empowered 2 times. One of the times he texted me in the morning, our first day of class, like, hey, I hope you have a great first day of class. Keep in mind, I also had his father as a professor.
Give me an A, daddy. An A.
He like texted me that and I just was like, fuck it. I'm not texting you back. I'm done with being strung along. I went to his dad's class. He had come in to pop by and I just made eye contact with him. And he knew in that moment, I'm not fucking around. It felt really good.
It feels really good to have a crush, to recognize that the crush is not treating you well, and then to deny said crush. Like, you have someone in your bed trying to kiss you. No, because I know you're a player. No. And then I never hear from you again and find out you're actually also seeing my friend.
Yeah. So like I was never in his bed, but totally. The next time that I felt empowered by him. So being from Oregon, you have a lot of ties with Nike. He was talking about the fact that he was running. I was like, oh, for his birthday, I'm going to send him running shoes. So I sent them to him as a freshman. When I was a senior in college, I'm at my job.
Mm-hmm.
I see him standing with all of his friends. He's wearing those shoes.
Yeah,
and I just look at him and I just go, hey, nice shoes. The look on his face, I swear to God, I think he was kind of turned on by that. Like, oh my God, she just kind of called me out. I didn't even look at his reaction. I just kept walking and I've never been so powerful in my life.
I'll be honest, when you said you bought him running shoes, I was like, why'd you do that? But now I'm glad you bought him running shoes just so that years later you could be like, hey, I see you're still wearing that same pair of shoes I got you. Bye, I've moved on.
My last crush story, it was with my ex-husband. We had kind of 2 different segments of meeting each other. The first time was at like age 22 and then we re-met at age 25. This was at age 22. We had gone on a couple dates. He had texted me, hey, do you want to hang out? And he was going to be in Portland. So I was like, oh, let's go to Porcano. It's one of my favorite Mexican restaurants, but it's not in the suburbs. At the time, I drove Lyft and it was when I worked retail. So I just was like, well, I'm going to just try and do this and make some extra money. We have dinner and then we're standing outside of my car and he looks at my car and he goes, You drive Lyft. I was kind of embarrassed. I didn't realize that he had lifted to dinner. He's like, what if you just lift me home? I was like so flustered. He ended up requesting me. So basically on that date, I earned like $30 and I just drove him to his mom's house.
Wow, I cannot believe I didn't know that story. When a crush gets you a little moolah, first it gets you moolah, then it gets you trauma.
I got dinner and $30.
And then it all went up from there.
It went up and then it went down and then it leveled out.
Things always go up and they always go down.
Yep. Gravity.
So I had a pattern of serial crushing dating, as we've talked about in high school and college. Basically, as soon as I felt like, oh, people like me, I was like, I'm going to just date as many people as I want.
Which honestly, I think that's kind of amazing, you know?
Looking back now, this was honestly a case study for me and has been throughout my life dating, because it gives me an inside look at other people and I can see how I react in relation to them.
You didn't have a type. Like you branched out.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I think is interesting, is I never really had a type because I was always just looking for different connections. Turns out that I am just a lot more queer than I realized. I think that my attraction was based a lot more in the feeling that I had than like physical attraction. We were prank callers in high school, okay? And there was a guy from our high school who started prank calling. I'll be honest, this was pre-catfish, pre-internet, big time
It
social
dated
media.
back to you. Catfishing dated back to you.
Kind of. So
Okay.
we would prank call people all the time, to the point where we had to stop because people knew it was us. At my best friend's bachelorette party, we literally prank called someone from high school and they knew it was me. So that's how the saga started. Basically, we started prank texting this guy from our high school, and we were pretending to be a different girl from a different high school who we had not even met. We had seen at a dance competition and been
Maddie.
really jealous of.
I'm not judging you.
I'm judging me.
It's okay.
I started prank texting this person as this beautiful girl. We were sending photos of her from her Facebook.
Do you still know this girl?
No, I never met her. I just knew her name and that she was a really good dancer. So we are basically catfishing this guy. And then he starts to tell us really personal things about his life and his ex-girlfriend who went to our school. And we were like, oh, no, this is getting way out of hand. What have we gotten ourselves into? So I am a prankster, but I also have a conscience. This person was also close friends with same high school boyfriend who had patience for me with the young boy, who had patience with me from 10th grade through college, truthfully. Very sweet boy. But we were on a break at that time. So I had to come clean. And I called him and I said, hey, I need to be honest with you right now. This is not the girl that we said it is. And this is actually Maddie Thompson from your high school. And I'm really sorry. This got way out of hand. It started as a joke, but I feel really terrible now that you've trusted me with these things. I just need to own up to my mistakes.
Maddie, though, good for you, because I don't think a lot of young people would have done that.
I was like 16 or 17, totally had integrity. And he was like, oh, Logan's girl? He's like, wait, yeah, no, like, he's really cool. I've actually heard you're really cool. You're like really pretty. Like, do you want to go out with me?
Me has hope for a man for 2 seconds and then it's immediately blown.
I ruin person's life and he's like, marry me. I will say my ruthlessness sometimes does attract men, and then when they realize I'm also deeply emotionally intense, they get scared and run away, which is totally fine because I don't need them. So I then proceeded to date him for a few months, and I got really freaked out because he got really invested really fast. And I went to his family Christmas party and I sat on Santa's lap and he said, what do you want? And I said, a dog. And then the boy sat on Santa's lap and he said, what do you want? And he said, a girlfriend. And then everyone looked at me and said, oh. Eventually, I had to break up with him, though, because he was in a gang and it got a little bit too intense for me.
I was going to make a joke that he just didn't get you your dog, but he was in a gang?
Sweet guy, though. I do remember at one point my dad let him, like, stay in our basement because he was at odds with his parents, I think. And we, like, bought him scriptures. I made him a quilt.
Sweet Brett.
The final crush. I think this is my most iconic crush story. Get the titties up for this. As I've said, I was very obsessed with boys my whole life. And in college, I decided I was going to make a passion project because there was something funny to me about how there was no rhyme or reason to the people that I had dated, but that I had so many crushes, so many random little stories, situationships. I decided I wanted to make my own version of Guess Who, but Crush Who. Studying art direction, advertising. And I thought, I'm going to draw anonymous portraits of these people. And I'm going to make a Guess Who game, but all of the prompts are just funny little facts about them.
This is so funny. I'm so happy that you leaned into it because my Guess Who game would be like a line of 4.
I had to really cut it back. I did anonymize them. I crossed out the I's, but then I decided to use their real names. So It wasn't necessarily anonymized, which felt fine because this was just a school project that was going on my portfolio to get a job. I wasn't posting it on social media. You would
Like,
have to like go out searching for it to find it, read through and connect dots. I was like, this is hilarious. I'm going to put this on my website to show my personality. One of the
amazing.
people was somebody who I dated in college, my sophomore year. Kind of a tumultuous, unhealthy situation, on and off. Very much so felt used for my body and kind of like belittled. So I was very naive, felt very unchosen because when this person would go to public events, he would bring my British friend who was hot and not me. Even though I was the one that he was calling to be like, hey, come pick me up so we can hook up all night, you know? Mormon hookup. So derfing in the back seat.
What is derfing?
Derfing is dry humping. So you're just grinding with your clothes on in the back seat all night. Let me tell you, that is going to give you a bruised pubic bone.
Ouch.
He was a little older than me. I was naive. I didn't know how to speak up for myself, whatever.
Yep.
We did end up ending things, and he was kind of in our friend group for a little while, which was toxic. He did write me an extremely half-assed apology from his mission in a letter that was just like, sorry I was bad to you sometimes, ha. So I make this game. I launched my website exclusively for recruiters to see so I can get a job in advertising. I had made the bio for this person. Quote, took me to the dollar movies to see a movie I had already seen and then took me to Panda Express after, which is my least favorite restaurant and always makes me shit my pants, and then asked me to pay because he said he didn't want to pay.
That's not very identifiable unless he's really passionate about Panda Express.
I mean, it did have his name. But again, who's going to see this? Looking back, I'm like, okay, I should have maybe not done the names. It was so lighthearted to me and I didn't think anyone would see it that it didn't matter. A few days later, I get a notification on my phone. I look down. Oh, someone just sent me a Venmo. Oh, $10? Oh, from this guy that I haven't heard from in years, who is actually now dating one of my old friends. And it says $10 because I, quote, didn't want to pay, which doesn't sound like me, but whatever.
I know you received that pettiness, but I also kind of stand by it.
You stand by his pettiness?
Not to you, but just in general. Sometimes pettiness is warranted. Maybe not in this situation, but it was creative what he did. I'll give it to him.
If it was me who was doing it or another woman, I would have been like hilarious. But because it was just this man whose ego was hurt
Yes.
by someone who he barely even dated because he wouldn't treat her like
Same thoughts.
his girlfriend.
Same thoughts.
Her school portfolio website to get a job. There were just so many layers. Someone must have seen this and sent it to him, and he was so offended that he had to make the statement of, not only have I seen this, but I would never say that. So you're lying. Here's $10. And I ordered a pizza, and I ate the pizza with my friends. So that's the time that I made a board game about my crushes, and one of them was so triggered by how I portrayed his truthful behavior that he paid me years down the line, even though we hadn't been speaking, just to help his ego.
I mean, if a man's ego is going to give me $10,
I'll take it. I'll take it money from
take
a man's
it.
ego any day.
Recapping, especially as I am going on my dating journey, I am really excited for my 30s to be full of crushes, full of flings. Goal A is to not be in relationship for a year just because. And goal B is to actually like the crush.
We're starting with some low expectations, but we can do it.
But I also feel like the way in which you had like multiple crushes, multiple lineups, little dibble dabble here and there. Honestly, that's kind of what I want for this year, but in more of like a hoe phase because I'm 31 and I can do whatever the fuck I want, you know? It's a fine line because I think dating is how you find out you like someone. So I can go on dates and not know, you know, but I don't need to be in a relationship with someone that I don't even want to feel like I have a crush on.
And you can also go out with this person. You can kiss this person. You can sleep with this person if you want to. And it doesn't have to mean that you're going to date them even long term.
Totally.
That you want to marry them. That doesn't have to mean anything. You can truly just be like, what do I like?
Mm-hmm.
What do I not like? I'm gathering data.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is for science.
I think that my biggest realization about all of these crushes that I've had, all of the people that I've tried to date, this limerence, is that most of the time it's based in projection. And it's me seeking out something that I already have in myself that's either an insecurity, untapped potential, or something that I have shame about. And I look back at all of these crushes, and I'm honestly kind of glad that I've had them all because there is something representative with each crush, with each relationship where I'm like, I gleaned this from that one. I know this from this one. This person taught me I need to be able to have fun. This person taught me I need an intellectual connection. This person taught me I can't be with a gross bro. So many different things. But ultimately, moving forward, as I'm looking at crushes, or if I do experience a crush or limerence, I want to be really mindful of what is it that I like about this person and why. And is this coming from something that I am really receiving from them that feels complimentary or inspiring? Or is this a quality that I wish I had that I'm afraid to embody and am outsourcing, you know? Because I think a lot of the time that can be in the driver's seat of like, what's going to make me feel complete or secure rather than what do I actually feel and where are these feelings coming from?
You and I are on the same page.
Let's do this, girl.
Here's to your crushes.
I'm thinking about the theme for next week. Are you ready?
Yes.
Clown core. Clown core.
Okay. All
Get
right.
ready. Thank you everyone for listening this week, unpacking crushes with us. We love having you here.
We love not crying for an episode. It feels really, really good.
Keeping it light like silk chiffon. Follow, like, rate, review, subscribe.
Tell your friends. Catch us here next week.
We'll see you then. We love you.
Love you. Bye.